It's a cold morning in the mountains, but it's also the best time to soak in the beauty of this amazing landscape. Fort Mountain in North Georgia, it's only 30 miles away from New Echota, Cherokee Nation capital we explored in the last episode. On the peak of this mountain, there's evidence that people lived in this area for thousands of years. The Cherokee legend is that this wall was built by Moonite people who could not see in the daytime. This was written by Benjamin Smith Barton in his book published in 1797. There are two versions who Moonite people were. Cherokees knew that Moonite people were not able to see during certain phases of the moon, so they attacked under a full moon and drove them from their homes. And the second version is that Creek Indians were at war with the Moonite people and drove them into hiding. No one knows the purpose for this wall. It's approximately 850 feet long, zigzagging on one side of the mountain. Maybe it was a defense fortification, or it served some religious purpose. Between 700 and 900 AD, a new culture arose. This was a Mississippian era when great mounds of the southeast were built. These mounds provided foundations for temples, for chief houses, and other important buildings for the community. Mounds faced large open plaza area, central to communal life in Mississippian society. It served as a playing field and a place for rituals and ceremonies that were important to these river people. During this period, Mississippian people became increasingly dependent on cultivated crops like corn and beans, and their homes became more permanent as they stayed in one place to tend their crops. At one time, 5,000 people lived in this town. The largest mound in the center of this town is 63 feet high and covering over 3 acres at its base. This is the second largest Indian mound in the world. a remarkable log cabin was built in 1797. And this house actually is where John Ross, Cherokee chief, lived since his boyhood until Cherokee people were removed to Oklahoma Territory in 1838. What a remarkable place for American history. John Ross was a son of a Cherokee mother and a Scottish father. He was only 1/8 Cherokee by today's standards, but Cherokee leaders trusted him and believed that his diplomatic skills will help the nation. He was elected a principal chief in 1828 and served in that position until his death in 1866, the longest-serving chief ever. He tried everything to help his people to stay on their land, but failed. He did not sign the treaty. As a wealthy businessman, he could have stayed, but decided to move with his family and share destiny with his people. His wife died on the trail.
So this house was built in the early 1800s by the Vann family. The Vanns were the wealthiest Cherokees in the Cherokee Nation. Even at one point, one of the richest families on the East Coast. They had about 800 acres around here, but their wealth did not save them, and they were forced out of their home a couple years right before the Trail of Tears. David Vann, who was a cousin and was also on the Cherokee Council, and he is also the great uncle of Will Rogers. But we also know President James Monroe stayed here, and he came by this house one night and ended up staying here in 1819.
So did Joseph ever return to this house, or he never came back?
No.
Are they still in Oklahoma?
Yes, I believe like straight down the line, they're still in Oklahoma.
Be interesting to meet some of them. The next site that we're going to explore on this trail is considered a sacred ground to the Cherokees. It's a Red Clay State Park in Tennessee. The Blue Hole Spring on this site was used as a freshwater source by the Cherokee Council that met here between 1832 and 1837. Blue Hole Spring. The water is crystal clear, bluish. Look how clean this water is. Crystal clear. It's almost like it's not there. Gosh. This sound, this smell, it's out of this world. We spent all day here. This is a spiritual experience. What happened to natives of the Southeast was a tragedy. But within a few generations, people realized that was a mistake. Many towns, mountains, rivers, creeks, waterfalls still have the original names used by natives. But the best part is that they are still here, a thriving small town and a community of proud and undefeated people.